Have you been thinking that you need to start investing or saving for the future in some way, but you just don't know where to begin? Or maybe you've put some money into a savings account or funded a Robinhood account, but that's as far as you got because the rest of it just seems so complicated. Do you work hard and play far too little because you don't ever seem to have the extra money that it takes to take some really exciting vacation? If I were to tell you that you should be putting money into the stock market, would you laugh and just walk away? What if I could show you, prove to you, that the stock market is not such a complicated place of graphs and jargon and computer banks, but rather a safe place to make a lot of extra cash that you can use to fund all of those things that you dream about having? No, really. I can teach you a clear and simple system that I've been using for 15 years to make millions of dollars for private clients. It's the most conservative and low-risk strategy available to stock market traders. And it's easy and fun to use. Yes, fun. My basic 3-step system can have you making trades and, most importantly, regular monthly income that will grow your account faster than just parking money into a savings account or, yikes, robo-trading account. Oh, I'm sorry. I got so excited that I didn't even introduce myself. Who the heck am I and where am I getting these crazy ideas? I'm Diana Green, and in my 15 years of trading in private accounts for clients, I have made millions of dollars using a simple 3-step system that consistently returns 10% or more each month in your account. I have proven multiple times that you can start building wealth immediately, even with just a little bit of cash. Contrary to what many people believe, the stock market is not a scary place just for the super rich. There are ways to safely and steadily make money in the stock market, and experts agree that it is the best place to grow your wealth. All you need is a few tools that you understand, some reasonable goals, and a healthy, positive mindset. First, a little bit about me and why am I here talking to you about investments and portfolios and where did I get this crazy idea about 10% or more each month on my money? My personal history with money is a wild and crazy roller coaster ride that has finally reached that blessed last downhill coast where I feel like the end is in sight and I can breathe. But for a long while there, when I was in my 30s, I didn't even want to think about money or talk about money. It seemed like something that other people worried about, and I had more important things to do. I mean, I had a career to get going, I had small children to raise, and God knows that is a full-time job all by itself, right? I didn't have time to think about IRAs and investments. I somehow thought someone else was going to take care of that for me. How did I get that idea? You'd think that a woman of my generation who grew up with such incredible role models like Gloria Steinem and her crowd would be fired up to take charge of my life, including my financial life. But you'd be wrong. Nobody taught me about money when I was a young woman, or even when I got to be an adult. When I was married, my husband managed most of that stuff, and when I felt powerless about it, we had some bad arguments. Where did all that powerlessness come from? I grew up in the light of a very rich grandfather who seemed to control the whole world. When he was happy with my mom, the sun shone and we ate good food and we went to Europe to visit him. But when they weren't speaking, he withdrew his support and we ate cereal with mouse turds in it and turned the heat way down to save money. No, really. So I learned that when other people have control of your money, they can make you happy or they can make you suffer, and you don't have any control. And then this grandfather died when I was in college, and my mom became the rich one. But then again, the money that I benefited from wasn't really mine, and I watched her spend it on terrible investments because this or that advisor told her where to put it. Meanwhile, I was pursuing a career in theater. Not really a comfortable world in terms of financial security, But I felt confident that I would get some kind of inheritance someday, so I didn't need to worry about it. I'm sure you know where that kind of thinking eventually got me. However, somewhere in the middle there, a friend brought me to an amazing workshop called How to Be a Wealthy Artist. First of all, the concept of wealthy artist was mind-blowing, right? It was a wonderful club full of writers and actors and painters, and the leader was so fun and funny, and he knew exactly who he was talking to because he made all the lessons really easy to understand. And before we knew it, we were trading stocks and options. Oh my God. I started learning about stocks and mutual funds and options, and a whole new world opened up to me that I had never experienced before. No more did I have to rely on the whims of other people who were not really interested in my personal security. And, why should they be anyway? I mean, that's up to me, right? I learned so much about myself and my relationship to money. I learned that my family, even though they got to flirt with being wealthy, never really considered that money to be theirs anyway. So they let it fly away because they didn't believe it was theirs to begin with. I learned how to change my attitudes towards money so that money and I would become co-workers and allies. When my marriage fell apart, I was forced to become the responsible person who managed the family finances for myself and for my kids. The lessons that I learned at the Wealthy Artists Club were really put to the test. I had a little money that my grandmother had left me when she died, and I put that money to work for me in the stock market. I grew that small portfolio into enough money to buy a house. And I created a level of security for my family that I had never experienced before. Today, I have a home that I love. I have the freedom to travel. I have an investment account that will secure the financial future for my family. I have all of these things because I learned some inside strategies that people who manage money for big investors know and use every day to make their clients millions of dollars. These strategies are available to all of you too, as long as you have a few simple tools and a modest amount of starting capital. Let me give you an idea of how that happens. Hey, I'm so happy to be sharing some of what I've learned about stock trading with you today. I'm going to give you a broad overview, and it might be a little overwhelming at first, but if you just stay open, I think you're going to start getting really excited about the amazing opportunities available to you through this simple options trading system. When you're ready to learn more, I have a 5-module course that will break all of this down step by step so you really feel confident to do some of these trades and start generating some excellent returns. Let's get started. So are you curious about stocks but don't really know where to start? Would you like to have the tools to make your money count for more, add up to more? So maybe you can retire early and travel the world. Why not? Dream big. What we're going to accomplish in the next 40 minutes or so is you will learn the basics of how to read a stock chart. You will become comfortable with terms like strike price, call option, and risk capital. I promise. Stick with me now. Don't jump ship just yet. You will get your first glimpse into the strategy that I and millions of others use to make 10% or more per month on our investments. You will see a possibility of financial freedom and early retirement opening up right before your eyes. You will understand that the tools you need to make this happen are all with you right now, and that you don't need a financial advisor, I'll explain what their job is also, or a hedge fund manager or an investment firm. You can do all of this on your own. I believe in you. And best of all, you will see that all of this is possible without a huge investment of time. You can implement this strategy with as little as a few hours per month, though you might become more excited and want to spend more time with it once you watch those big bucks piling up. So, are you ready to get started? Are you ready to learn to take control of your financial future? It's a big question. Most people are negative first. It's so much easier to sit back and say, I don't have time to fix my broke ass life. I mean, I gotta go get the duct tape. I know, I was there. But to really get serious about starting on this money making badassery, you need to get clear on your relationship with money as it looks now. Can you quickly come up with 3 things you grew up knowing about money? Write them down as I keep talking. What were you told about money as a kid? What did you observe about adults who had money or adults who didn't have money? Are you familiar with some of these common ideas about money? Money doesn't grow on trees. How about money is the root of all evil? Oh. Or we say things like, that person is filthy rich. Or this one, you can't make money being an artist, or an actor, or a singer, a carpenter, or a woodworker. How about that car is out of my league? Save your money for a rainy day. Rich people are just greedy. When we say things like this, we reinforce our negative relationship with money. If you talk shit about money, money will turn right around and go the other way and find someone else who will sweet talk it. And besides, what did money ever do to get all this bad mouthing? Money is not the root of all evil. Human beings can be nasty and destructive no matter whether they are rich or poor. They can also be benevolent and generous instruments of change, and money can help with this ambition. Do you want to be able to provide financial security for your family? Would you like to take your friends out for dinner and pick up the tab? Would you like to see your kids go to any college they want to go to without choking on the price tag? If you want anything that money can provide, which is pretty much anything, then you need to change your relationship with money starting now. You need to welcome it into your life rather than push it away with negative thoughts. You need to talk nice, like, hey, baby, how about you and me cozy up right here in this awesome infinity pool you helped me buy? So think about your relationship to money as we go, and if anything occurs to you, just make a note of it and you can use that later. Let's get started. First things first, just as you would do when you want to travel to any new place, you need to learn some basic language to negotiate freely in this new world. Let's start with risk capital, because you're going to need some of that to get started. Risk capital is an amount of money that a person is willing to invest to generate excellent returns, knowing there is a risk they could lose it all. So ideally, you will not risk all the money you have, but only put a small portion of your capital to work for you at first. When I started, I had $5,000 that I could reasonably lay my hands on, even though I had debts that were much bigger than that at the time. I was able to turn that $5,000 into $20,000 by the end of 1 year, at which point I paid off a large chunk of those debts. I'll show you exactly how that adds up in just a moment. A few more terms you should know first, and if you feel like you know some of these, just hang in there. What is a stock? What do we do when we buy stock? 1 share of stock represents the smallest piece of a company you can buy. It's not fantasy or theory, it's real. When you own a share of stock, you own a piece of a company. Congratulations. Why do we buy stock? To sell it. I know, some of you immediately thought, to hold on to it forever and ever like Linus in his blanket so that it will provide me security till the end of my life. No. Buying stock is much like going on a date. Some dates are awesome and end up in beautiful marriages, and some dates, well, you know. And even the beautiful marriages come to an end sometimes. Ooh, did I mention there might be free and cynical dating advice included here? No? Well, there might be, and you're welcome. We buy stock to sell it and make a profit. We don't buy it to hold on to forever. We don't buy it to help the company. The company can take care of itself, or not, in which case that date is over, baby. I told you that dating scenario would keep coming back. As my mentor in the Wealthy Artists Club used to say, We never marry a stock. We only date it. As long as the stock price is rising and the fundamentals on the company look good, then we stay with that happy date. So let's learn how to find those happy dates. Let's take a look at a stock chart. And I'm going to use Yahoo Finance because I think it's a pretty basic place to start. Sexy, right? If you have no freaking idea, that's totally fine. Let's start simple, with pictures. Start with the 1-year chart. And I want you to do this every time you investigate a new stock. To get to this chart, I just clicked where it says 1Y above the chart. Do you like this picture? Does it look like the stock has appreciated or grown over time? If you had put money into this stock 1 year ago, would you have more money now? Yes. So, is this a good date? Let's investigate further. What is the selling price? That's up there circled in red. How many shares does it trade each day? That's circled in yellow. This is called the average volume. What does this company do? Is this something you can understand? This is a basic rule of buying stock as an individual investor. If you do not understand the company story, don't buy into it. I know, it seems obvious, but when greed gets its tentacles into a person, they lose their sense of purpose. So always come back to this basic. Do you understand the story? I happen to understand this story, and it's a hot market right now. Semiconductors are components of electric vehicles, among other things. Sometimes the story is very familiar. Happy Meals. Yep, got it. Or are they selling nano bitsy whoopie doopies that I can't even picture? What the heck is a LiDAR sensor? If you don't understand it, don't buy that snake oil, my friend. Okay, so let's just say that you've decided this stock would make a good date. There's more to that, which I'll get into later, but I want you to see more of the picture for now. So you decide to plunk down your hard-earned dineros and buy some. Congratulations! You are the proud owner of a piece of a company. Now what? What can you do with it? What are your options? Funny you should say that word. I was just coming to that. Options. No, it's not so scary. Here's another term in the world of big finance that people use behind closed doors that makes us little people feel like there's a big secret in there that no one's letting us in on. The truth is, it's right out there in the open if you just know where to look and how to use it. When you own a chunk of stock, 100 shares to be precise, you can sell someone the option to buy it away from you at a predetermined price. That's all it is, the option to buy it. That's the right, but not the obligation to buy it. This someone will pay you a fee for this option. This is called the premium. You get to keep the premium regardless of what they decide to do with the option. In our digital world, where all of this is done digitally, that money, that fee, goes into your account immediately and is yours to keep regardless of the outcome. Years ago, this involved phone calls and brokers, people who negotiate for you, and all such complications. But that's a story for another day. Today, you can sell an option and make money immediately. This transaction that I just described is called writing a covered call. It's basically like charging rent for something you own. It's a covered call because you can cover the deal with the 100 shares of stock that you own. So let's imagine you were someone who owned real estate and you bought an apartment building. You wouldn't just let it sit there for a few years and hope the price would go up so you could sell it, right? You would rent out those apartments and take cash every month while you owned it. The same is true for stock. You can charge rent to some other person who wants you to hold on to those shares while they decide whether or not they want to buy them at some fixed date down the road. Here's an example with a stock that I just made up for now. So, say you bought stock DAG for $20 per share. Why did you buy it? Because it looks like a good company and you think it will grow over time. Other people think so too. In fact, they think your $20 stock might be worth $21 or more by the end of the week. So they're willing to pay you to hold on to that chunk of stock and to sell it to them for $21 at the end of the week. They will pay you $1 a share for this contract. We actually do call it a contract. A contract is exactly this negotiation with 100 shares. You are, in effect, renting them this block of shares, just like you would rent out that apartment. You get that $1 per share immediately, just like the rent. So you made $100 on your block of 100 shares. Not bad for just typing for a moment, right? Then, one of three things might happen at the end of the week. There are only three things that a stock can do, after all: rise, drop, or stay the same. The stock price of DAG might go shooting past $21 to, say, $22, at which point the buyer will happily buy the stock away from you for that agreed price of $21, because he got a deal. Or the stock might climb a bit but stay roughly the same, at which point the contract is over, but you still own the stock. Or the stock might drop a bit too, at which point you would also still own the stock at the end of the week. In any of these cases, that $1 per share rental fee or premium is yours to keep. And the amazing thing is that you win in all of these scenarios. If the stock is bought away from you for $21, then you also make $1 per share in capital gains. That's the amount that something appreciates from the purchase to the sale, so the difference between 21 and 20. If the stock stays with you, then you made $1 per share in premium and you still own the property that you rented. Could you rent it again? Hells yeah. Could you do this over and over again with the same chunk of stock? You bet your ass. Did we add up what percentage you made on your initial investment by optioning it in the first place? Let's calculate your rate of return, which is the percentage you made on your initial investment. Take the income, $1, and divide it by your investment, which is the purchase price of $20. You got 0.05, which is 5%. That option made you 5% on your investment in a week. If you do this every week for a month, what is your rate of return for the month? If you remember your third grade times tables, that would be 20%. I'm telling you, all you need to know to do this option stuff is basic math, guys. Does 5% profit in a week beat that CD you were thinking you might get over at the bank? Yeah. Does 20% profit in a month beat inflation all to hell? Definitely. I know. At this point, you're sitting back and thinking, no, this can't be real. This is some kind of joke. If it was real, why isn't everyone doing it? Everyone is doing it. Okay, maybe not your Aunt Sophia, or maybe she is. How does she afford those fancy boxes of chocolates she loves so much anyway? No, seriously, millions of people are using this strategy every day, and I'm going to prove it to you. Let's look a little further at that stock chart that I was showing you earlier. Let's go to the page where the options prices are listed for this stock. At the time when I made this slide, this was a 1-week option, meaning options for sale of the stock 1 week after the purchase. As you scroll down, this is a list of prices that will be agreed upon as purchase prices. This number is called the strike price, with the yellow star above. Those in the shaded area are those for less than the current selling price, which is $39.41. So we want to go to the one that is just higher than the current selling price, After all, we want the stock to be bought away from us for more than we purchased it for. This is called out of the money. The premium there for the $39.50 strike is $1.70. If you sold that option, your rate of return would be $1.70 divided by $39.41 equals 4.3%. Not bad. If you do that every week for a month, that's a 17.2% return on your investment. I promised you at least 10% per month, right? Now, look how many other people have done this trade just today. See that 125 to the right of the strike price we chose? That number is called the open interest, and it shows how many people have bought or sold that option just this week. 125 measly people, you say? Well, that's just this option on just this stock for just this week. There are 21 options for just this stock listed on just this page alone, with a total of 1,355 people who traded them. That's just this stock and just this week. Do you see where I'm going? There are thousands of stocks, and therefore hundreds of thousands of strike prices, and therefore millions of people who are making these trades every single week. Every single day, in fact. No fantasy. This is very much reality. It is right there for you to see and for you to participate in every day, just like all these people. If you've hung in there this long, I think you're ready to see some real numbers. Are you ready? If you learn this strategy and start putting it to work with just a small investment, here's a look at how you could be making some real changes in your life in just a year, and even how you could be seriously rolling in the cheddar a few more years down the road. This account starts with $5,000. The third column represents 10% of that starting number that gets added each month via premiums, which will be added to the total. This investor is also going to really make a commitment to her wealth building by adding to the account every month. The second column represents that addition. You have to bring something great to the date, too, after all. When you make that commitment, you will see the numbers grow even faster. And it shows the money fairies that you are serious about this shit. I've put in $250 a month as a figure for now, but that number is entirely up to you. If it's $50, that's fine too. But if you get all excited and want to make it more, that's okay. Just make sure it's money you can play with and that you're not siphoning off your kids' college funds. If you commit to this wealth building strategy, you could see your $5,000 grow to $20,000 in just 1 year. Wouldn't you like that? What could you do with the extra money? Buy a new car, spruce up your home or apartment, pay off your credit cards. Take a trip to someplace you've been dreaming of. Retire early and travel the world. You can do this. We can do this. Your wealth is in your mindset. You are mighty and magnificent, grasshopper, and all you need is a little coaching, just like the Karate Kid. Let me teach you. So, are you intrigued? Feeling brave? Or just fed up with your current level of investing know-how? If you want to come and do this work with me, here's the transformation you could make in just a little over a month. The course will be released one section at a time over a period of 5 weeks so that you can really focus on new information as it is delivered. I want you to feel empowered and confident, not overwhelmed and resistant. I put this picture in here of me and Gloria Steinem because I feel pretty empowered in that moment, standing next to an icon of female power. Each module is followed by practice exercises that you can do any time before you watch the next module. These exercises go from researching a few stocks and starting a list of companies you're interested in, to organizing paper trades with given parameters. Each week, you will be encouraged to share your work and your questions with the community, either through the course hosting platform or through Facebook, however you're more comfortable. When people learn together, they learn better. I discovered that in my Wealthy Artists Club, and I am hoping to recreate that experience for you here, as much as the online community will allow. I will give regular feedback via the Facebook group, and you will have scheduled bi-monthly Q&As where you can submit questions to be answered live by me in a discussion. This is an excellent opportunity to not only get your own questions answered, but perhaps to hear something that you wouldn't have thought to ask, but that your fellow traders are curious about. Most importantly, you will learn that the clear and simple steps for implementing a trading system you can put to work right after Module 3, or wait until you've completed the whole course. You can also watch the lessons over and over as many times as you like before you decide to jump in and open your trading account. The key is to get the financial education that no one has given you thus far, which will provide you with tools and a foundation of knowledge to help you take charge of your own financial future. All along the way, I will discuss various stocks so that you can benefit from a lot of the research that I do every day. But I want to be clear that I am never advocating for any particular stock, just giving you examples for educational purposes. I hope that you will choose to join this dynamic community of people who think that investing should be fun as well as profitable. I am all about making work and learning as lighthearted and delightful as possible. Believe me, it is a thrilling moment when you make that first trade and watch your cash balance grow. And then you can discover that this moment is just the first step on a journey of financial empowerment and freedom that could last the rest of your life. Your future is in your hands. Click the link and start building wealth today that could change the course of that future for you and the people you love.